Hey, Retcon Raider here, and welcome back. We're starting off with a bang today with an event we already knew was coming. Another ambition fulfilled, so let's celebrate by giving it a proper read-through. You were unsure at first about assigning Henry Baggins to this important task, for he was as committed to revelry and carousing as any other man. But Henry Baggins takes to his duties with a zeal that is at first admirable and later worrying. Scoffing at dawn as the rising hour of the cowardly and infirm, Henry Baggins decides that everyone must start the day much earlier. He runs the men through the usual sparring routines and checks their equipment for splits and wear. But to such light work he adds strict rules about setting up and breaking camp, formation drills, lessons on flanking, forced marches with stones in their packs, and a detailed punishment regime for anyone who dares fall behind. Words such as back-breaking, cruel, flint-hearted, and merciless, as well as dozens of other saltier epithets, ring in the air whenever Henry Baggins is safely out of earshot, though never when he is sleeping. For the brothers have learned that Henry Baggins the Sergeant never truly sleeps. So, what have all those theatrics earned us? Well, let's take a look. First of all, you'll notice that Henry Baggins has automatically been assigned a nickname, Henry Baggins the Sergeant. And, second, we apparently got the Sergeant sash. I don't remember that being in the beta, I'm pretty sure it's new. But, since it gives us plus 10 resolve... Oh, and it appears on his character model. I think that's a no-brainer. That pushes him up to a whopping 77 morale. And you'll notice I did a little bit of bookkeeping, of course. There's a bit of revision to our equipment lineup. And, oh yes, before I forget to mention it, the Goon hit level 5 in the last episode, which would usually mean I'd give him dagger specialization, but because of his maimed foot, I thought he'd be better off with Pathfinder, which so far I've reserved for our archers. That should hopefully make up a bit for his slower movement. Now let's see here. We still need to get this cargo delivered to Wholeness Land. Honestly, it's so far away I'm half tempted to go ahead and cancel the contract. But I think that would set a bad precedent, so I'll go ahead and deliver this off screen and we'll be right back. And we're back. Our delivery to Wholeness Land went off without a hitch. We are now on the far northeastern reaches of the world map. You'll notice we haven't been assigned a new ambition yet. And I've modified our equipment lineup a little bit more, but more notably, we picked up a new face. I got this. A supremely cocky brawler with the determined and brave traits. He's also got some pretty decently arrayed star placement in resolve and melee defense and melee combat, so I think he should turn out pretty well as long as we can keep him alive. Unfortunately, you'll notice that we're maxed out with 12 mercenaries already in our lineup, so for now he's going to have to sit on the bench, but as soon as someone is sidelined with an injury, we'll have a replacement ready to fill their slot. Now, I did notice that Wholeness Land is actually a pretty nice little town. There's a couple of contracts available, we've got a lot of amenities like the barber shop, the temple, even a tavern if we want to get drunk for a quick boost to our morale. But at the moment, our biggest concern is continuing to build our gold stash. So let's see what contracts we have to play with. Alright, at a glance, this looks like a recovery mission. These are pretty straightforward jobs and usually involve facing off against bandits. So let's go ahead and take it and see where it leads us. Generally speaking, these tracking missions involve just spotting and following a set of footprints until you eventually catch up with the thieves, cut them down, and then recover the goods. There are occasionally twists that complicate the mission, but with only 6 thieves to deal with, I'm not anticipating any issues here. Oh, I do see that we're going to be facing our first brigand marksman, though. That could be a bit of a threat. Yeah, and there's their marksman making a beeline for elevated terrain. Looking at the rest of these guys, I don't see any serious threats. Most of these guys are just begging to be smashed in the face with a flail. But if we take any serious wounds or casualties, it's going to be because of that marksman. What I'd like to do is move Siren around the north side of the battlefield as quickly as possible to see if I can engage and neutralize that marksman, but I'm going to have to wait to see what the rest of these guys do first. And of course, they immediately ruined that plan. And not only are they blocking my path to the marksman, but they're also using those trees for cover. That definitely complicates things. Wow, they're really committing themselves to defending that archer. They've created a complete battle line, blocking my progress in that direction. I guess I could move Rondus around the south side. I suppose I should play this a bit cautiously. We'll move up as one steady line. Don't want King to be too vulnerable, so I'll set him on spear wall. In fact, I guess I should just go ahead and set everyone on spear wall. Alright, now I can move my archers up behind my newly established battle line. And maybe sneak in a few shots of opportunity here. Not seeing... Oh, there we go. That was a lucky 9% shot. See if I can get some more of those. Well, no such luck. And unfortunately, Potato has to move just far enough that he can't sneak off one more arrow. I think everyone's in a good position. We'll hold there for the rest of the turn and wait to see what the Raiders do. Alright, time for more of an arrow exchange. Yeah, I was afraid of that. His elevated position plus that hunting bow he's got give him a pretty big advantage over our archers. I believe those guys have the bullseye perk, meaning that he might be able to shoot right past our shield lines. And I see at least one raider has decided to join in with throwing things at us. Ah, there we go. Okay. That arrow took out all of that marksman's flimsy armor and dealt him a pretty nasty wound. The rest of my archers are just too far. I'll have to hold my shots until I can get some better hit percentages. Ah, and that raider's trying to do exactly what I wanted to do. Well, I'll just move Vlad over to nip that in the bud. Ah, and I almost killed him in one hit, too. See, that is a broken nose there. Now we'll start piling our mercenaries on top of these guys and stacking our 2-hit bonuses. And I believe these are the first people we've faced with kite shields. Those have almost twice the defensive bonuses of conventional shields. I'd love to get my hands on some of those. And I think Vlad's got that guy under control, so let's move Siren into the main battle now. Nice. Siren set him up and King took him down. I believe that's King's first raider kill. We'll have Roderick fill that gap. Archers. What can my archers do? Actually, can he finish this guy off? Ooh, nice. Well done, Alessandro. Bring Henry Baggins up, but he won't be able to attack. And a new turn. Really need to take care of that guy with the... Oh. Well, unfortunately, even with his formidable melee skills, King's low defenses mean that he's vulnerable to those kinds of sharpshooting tactics. That crippled hand means he's pretty much neutralized for the rest of this fight. Nice. Looks like Fox... Oof. Okay. Well, Fox took out their marksman, but it looks like he took a pretty nasty hit in return. I'm going to need to move him to a safe distance. Especially now that we've got two raiders who've decided to throw stuff at us instead of fighting like men. See if we can return the favor here. No, that kite shield is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It's keeping him distressingly arrow-free. Oh, wait, he... Well, that bandit just hopefully nudged Roderick right into them. Well, that means that Roderick will cheerfully draw his notched blade and plunge it into that unshielded raider's heart. Oh, and a pierced chest injury. Close enough. Alright, let's get Vlad in there. Lock these guys down before they can maneuver. Bring Siren around. And that guy's almost broken, so I'll go ahead and risk moving King into base-to-base contact with him. Ah, and that broke his morale entirely. His problems compounded with a pierced arm injury. But those other two raiders aren't going down without a fight, so let's see if we can soften them up a bit more. This fight is pretty much won. It looks like they're mostly going to defensive tactics now. That guy didn't even bother to attack. He just shield-walled. Two very solid blows there. And Roderick finishes him off with two well-placed stabs. In fact, let's have Siren grab his dagger as well. And King. Nice, that's kill number 2 for King. And now we just need to mop up with this last guy. His morale is still steady, but since he's the last bandit standing, I imagine he's going to start trying to retreat in a second. Oof, especially with 2 serious wounds stacked on him already. I would like that kite shield, though, so let's see if we can keep him from escaping. Ah, landed a nasty hit with our banner. No reasonable line of sight for the rest of our archers, unfortunately. And he's still just tanking. The crossed blades mean he's set up to counterattack anyone who attacks him. I do need to be a little careful about who I engage him with. And there we go. Looks like Potato's up to level 5 and the King of Yellow hits level 2. Though that pierced hand injury is going to put him on the bench for a couple of days. And we got another set of chainmail and a nasal helmet. I'll take them. We've netted 3 kite shields. Very nice. And I see another flail, always useful. A military pick. A boar spear. And our first hunting bow. That will be a huge boon to one of our archers. Alright, with the lockbox recovered, we can take it back to Wholeness Land and collect our ample reward. And since there's only a little bit of bookkeeping here, let's take care of it real quick. First of all, King of Yellow is up a level. That means he gets the student perk, so that he'll gain additional levels faster. And we move him onto the bench. That pierced hand really reduces his viability in battle. And I got this, could use some experience anyway. We'll increase his melee, of course, and a fat +4 to range defense is a no-brainer. That initiative boost's pretty good too, but we should focus on fatigue right now. That looks good. And Potato. Bow Mastery is a no-brainer. And we will boost his range skill, of course. But there's no good raises for his defense, so we'll grab Fatigue instead. And we'll put his last upgrade in, I think, Initiative. That's not so important now, but it'll be important for one of the later perks I like to pick up for my archers. And it looks like it is once again time to pick a new ambition, so... Noble Contract, slay a dozen opponents... Well, let's grab this one. Our next goal will be to find a stronghold and destroy it. And now back to Wholeness Land, where we can turn in this contract. A nice, easy 700 crowns. And we can grab the other contract. Which is, of course, a caravan run. About the most boring contract possible. I suppose I shouldn't turn down 450 crowns, though, so I'll take it, and I will handle it off-screen. Where is that taking us, though? Let's see here. Grunberg to the south. Oof. Wow, that really is far to the south. Okay. Yeah, we'll be right back. And we're back. We safely escorted that caravan to Grunberg. There was nothing interesting there, so we went north to Weedfest, and there was nothing there either. So we found our way up to New Farn. Now, our little road trip was pretty boring, but it gave us ample time to kit our mercenaries out with some of the new equipment. You'll notice we worked our new kite shields into the lineup, and Rondis has finally gotten that shiny new sword he's been clamoring about. Now, New Farn's got a contract to offer, so you see they've got disappearing villagers and ambush trade routes, so I'm going to guess this is either monsters or bandits. I see mention of foul beasts, so this is a monster hunting contract. And I'm certainly not going to turn down 780 gold. Alright, now, monster contracts are pretty similar to the thief hunting contracts. I just have to keep an eye out. Yep, there they are. I have to keep an eye out for monster tracks and then follow them until they lead me to whatever's terrorizing the town. And what's this? A peasant comes up to you with his clothes in shredded rags about him. With fair modesty, he's got his hands covering his groin. Please, sirs, come take a look at this horror. When you question what he's talking about, he throws his hands up, thrusting his hips at you. He turns a foot like a puppet spun about and takes off running, hooting and hollering. A woman walks up to you in the wake of the man's madness. She's got her hands against her bosom. He's gone mad on account of his brother being torn apart by the beasts. You turn to her, half expecting the lady to rip off her clothes and wobble her shapes in whatever direction she pleases. Instead, she simply stares at you. I know New Farn has hired some men to take care of these beasts, and you certainly look the part of a hired hand. Please, sir, protect us from these evils, and the evils that they spread. Well, hastily moving on. See, there's a small group of brigands battling a group of militiamen there. Think they've got it without us getting involved, though. Let's just stay on task here. Huh. Looks like these monsters are wandering all over the countryside. Oh, there we go. Okay, I caught a glimpse of them that looked like Nachzehrers. Yeah, 14 of them. Well, we faced these guys before, but I suspect that this group might be a bit tougher. Yeah. It's mostly smaller Nachzehrers. I see a couple of larger ones mixed in. Those are the guys we have to watch out for. I think we faced our first group of these guys back in... Gosh, it must have been episode 1 or 2, maybe. If you'll recall, they're fairly easy to slay, but the real problem comes after you start killing them. Once you've got corpses on the battlefield, the remaining Nachzerer will rush up and try to devour them, and for each corpse they eat, they grow larger and stronger until they're so big that they can swallow your mercenaries whole. That's what we need to watch out for, because that's when they become a serious threat. I want to soften them up with the archers. I just don't want to kill them until they're closer. That way I can try to... Not really hitting much here. I want to... there we go. I want to kill these guys once they're closer, so that I can guard the corpses and keep them from rushing up and eating them. Set the spear wall. I do want to lean away from spear wall tactics, but this is a case where spear wall tactics are particularly viable. So we'll hold our ground and wait for them to approach. Oops, right, and Rondis' new sword, of course, cannot ward them away. But that's fine. Oh wow, he's really got it. Nice, I think that's... Well, he had to fail eventually, but I think he warded off 3 of those Nachzerer, killing one of them in the process. Alright, they've totally broken our spear line now. I see Siren up there is in danger of being overwhelmed by the larger, stronger Nachzerer. So let's free up some of our men by clearing off the weaker ones. Oh, right, and Mark's got this one down here to deal with. Oh, that's fine. Fortunately, these smaller ones have low morale, so I should just need to pepper them with a few injuries. And then the rest will be itching to run. Alright, Rondis. Nice. Looks like he's taken to that sword pretty quickly. And there's Pierced Gut. And Faceless Goon crushing fingers and skulls. And King pulling, I think that's his 4th career kill. And Roderick, go ahead and... Well, he badly injured that Nachzerer and broke its morale. Maybe Mark can finish the job. Come on. Alright, well, one of them managed to eat a corpse, but it could have been a lot worse. Mark? Very good. There's Mark, displaying that he is equally adept with a knife as he is with a bow. Potato working hard to continue clearing up our front lines. Wow, this is just turning into a slaughter, isn't it? Goodness, we're cutting these guys down so fast, I can barely even keep up with it. Alright, well, let's just start moving up and cutting them down. Well, those two are still putting up a fight at least. Alright, let's get Mark back onto his bow, and there he is, cutting another one of these ghouls down. to be outdone. There's Potato cutting one down as well. That just leaves this one here as a viable threat. Though he's not much of a threat now with an arrow through his neck. And even less now that Rondus has cut him down. Alright, well, honestly, I think that's our smoothest battle yet. Let's just mob up on this last guy, and that takes care of that. No level ups, but a lot of experience across the board, and sadly, nothing but subpar loot. But at least we're pulling, 450 gold for this job? The Nachzehrers' dead body looks more rock than beast as it lays flat and unmoving. Flies are already coupling inside its mouth, sowing life in the frothy remains of death. You order Potato to take its head, for Hans of Newfarn will be expecting proof. Oh goodness, right, this job was actually worth almost 800 coins. That's a pretty simple job for such a tall stack of gold. Let's get these ghoul teeth out of our inventory for a small handful of extra coin. And we'll do a little bit of resupplying. We're pretty low on food, so I'll go ahead and take care of that off screen, and we will be back in a moment. Hey, Retcon Raider here, and sadly it looks like we'll be cutting the episode a few minutes short. Why? Well, while I was doing some off-screen bookkeeping, I took on a Caravan job, and unlike most boring escort missions, this one actually hit us with a bit of a curveball. An obnoxious green curveball. Yep, that's right. The Raiders just got ambushed by a veritable swarm of gobbos. And just to remind you, I hate fighting goblins. What's even worse, these guys hit us in the middle of the night, so our archers are heavily handicapped. This isn't a worst-case scenario, but it's definitely pretty bad. Things are probably about to get bloody. But more importantly, this is the sort of battle that would push us well over the 30-minute running time that I usually aim for. So we'll be picking up with this fight in the next episode. Sorry about that. And just as a general reminder, we're still steadily working our way through the waiting list as I find opportunities to work more viewers onto the Raiders roster. But there's always room for more, so if you'd like to get a name of your choice added to the roster, just let me know in the comments below and I'll add you to the list. Be sure to let me know if you also have any preferences when it comes to things like weapon or perk loadouts or character appearances. Oh, but nothing inappropriate when it comes to names. Let's try to keep things classy here. Anyway, I'm gonna go see how we do against these goblins, and then I'll start working on cleaning up the footage for the next episode. But until then, this is Retcon Raider, signing off. Thanks for watching. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Battle Brothers, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, or the fan-run wiki. Links are in the description.